Good morning to everyone. It is an honor and privilege to speak to this conference today. I'd like to begin with thanking Dr. Fadli, whom I've met in Coventry University in 2018, for this very kind invitation. Just a brief introduction about myself. My name is Jacey Lynn. I'm Unima's Directors of Gamification Center and also a senior lecturer in statistical data analytics at Computer Science Department and heading the international UK-based ACES and Creative Culture 2017 program and research. Today, I would like to share with you the Creative Culture initiative that was done together with teachers and students in Malaysia, particularly those participants and teachers from Sarawak. Under the Creative Culture Initiative, we have explored the potential of co creation in teaching and learning among teachers, embedded it within the national curriculum in schools, and also involved students, parents, and their community in the process. The co creation approach is very much modeled around exemplifying and embedding the four C's: critical thinking, creativity, communications, and collaborations are not only individuals' competency entities and separated, but they have been viewed in a greater connectivity in a four dimension. The emergence of these new sets of tesseract mix is known as co-creation, and its aim is to allow and support equality and equity in partnership education. In our hypothesis, if every teacher is equipped with this 21st century knowledge and skills, it will have positive effects on students' learning and enable true innovation for teaching and learning for the 21st century. Can all these skills be taught and learned? Yes. So why co-creation? Barack Obama claimed the empathy deficit is more pressing problem in the society these days. This means people these days has lost the ability to empathize and lost the way to connect with people and understand them. I'm sure all of us would agree with him too. Empathy is a powerful tool that can help you better understand what's driving in learners' thoughts and behaviors and find strategies to help them. We have found empathy can be ignited and fostered through creations. This is the engine of co creations under the Creative Culture Initiative. What is co creations? Co creations is a joint creation values, or some may call it creative collaboration. It is the act of creating with diverse stakeholders, teachers, students, interdisciplinary team coming together and actively create to improve solutions. The co-creation models integrate elements of participatory gameplay. Here in this gameplay, we look at game mechanics and design thinking into an approach. And this process to rapidly could generate innovative solutions. Applying game design thinking led us to focus on understanding users' point of view, learners' journey and experience of the community. This process allows and helps individuals, in this case, the research team themselves, stakeholders, teachers, and students, to confront misconceptions, develop communication skills, and negotiate knowledge in a social way among diverse perspectives. And here in this approach, it is useful for us to build empathy, especially during community engagement. The element of role play for engagement in forming and building understanding, relationship, and teamwork will aim to also break the ice. In our project, we work a lot with indigenous communities in rural and remote villages. We have about over 20 different indigenous communities in Sarawak. To travel to these villages, we have to take either fishing boats, small boats up and downstream, like shown in the image, logging roads, and also we have to fly, of course, but on a smaller plane, to a seaplane, to the airport nearest to the village. The schools in this village have very limited teaching and learning resources. Some do not have internet, and let alone electricity. Community engagement is a dedicated process that requires strong motivation to establish a mutual trust and to get all parties to articulate their needs. To social scientists, this process is an important phase to determine onboarding, perceivable success, and sustainability of the study within the indigenous and local communities. Culture protocol based on the United Nations Declarations of Rights of Individual People are a set of guidelines for our communities, and we researchers are using it in our projects. We created the play to engage model when planning for community engagement with the communities and the school. Within the community, knowledge is shared through storytelling, demonstration, and play. Many traditional and local games have been constructed to pass on knowledge of elders to the young. In this model, we attempt to create a cohesive environment. We had play game day with the communities. Here, the researchers shift their leading role to becoming participants together with communities. Playing games could invoke positive emotional experience such as joy, pride in a person. Here, the play activities was actually initiated by the village heads and community of elders during community engagement with the research team. This is an interesting view from the common community engagement, whereby usually we use question and answers, questionnaires, and interview focus group. Both groups, the research team and the community, were learning from one another to understand cultures, community, their local games, and story behind their games. And we also challenged them to think of ways that we can use their games for learning in schools. There was a positive interaction and a good bond during the participation. We collaborated, cooperate to win the game, and improve the strategies even to winning the game. And finally, everyone had a good laugh and fun. Here is an example or samples of photo we did with the schools, a play day, before we actually started our project with them. For schools, a play day activities is conducted to gain access to the school and also to identify champions. Understanding students and researchers is vital in this stage. Sorry, and teachers. Activities and specific actions are identified during play activities day together. The students, the teachers could also learn from the researchers to further understand the shared purpose of the project. In the play day activity, we mix the different core mechanics, the strategies of local, commercial, and traditional games into their playful learning. These slides illustrates co-creation approach in learning and how it fits together for productive playful learning in schools and outside school curricula. Games and play could help to shift a community from negative to positive emotional experience and to maintain a positive relationship. Gamification in schools could also motivate students to participate more and change their concept as a learner. The idea of co creation is extended to getting teachers, educators, learners to create their own gameful learning content. We only use mahjong papers, this white big piece of paper about the size of 31 feet times 31 feet, post-it notes, marker pens, and our magic creation box containing a variety of different game items. We also had another box with assorted board games and card games. This is extremely useful to those who have never actually played a game in their whole life. Lego can also be used as the game items. So please feel free just to fill in all the items in the box and let the creativity of your participants flow. Here, I will share with you some of our amazing outcomes from the co-creation for gameful and playful learning. We will start from the top row. From the leftmost image, we got the primary school students to create games for the No to Plastic awareness program that was done in the school. The image on the right, to we had a group of slightly older primary school children, aged 12, created climate change awareness games for the school. It was a 2-day program with them, and this particular game has actually won first place for a well done awareness game that was organized by the school itself. The third image is a remix game that incorporates robotics. I think we use Mouse, can't remember the name, and mathematics content that was incorporated. Okay, this was co-created by the teachers in a rural school. The right top image is a co-created educational game using hopscotch, okay, to teach science. So cards are laid down, and then there are certain rules, and they have to answer certain questions, and if they are unable to answer certain questions, then they are unable to proceed. Okay, this game was created by the master students for schools in Kuching and Sarawak. It was also tested um, in a few places. Bottom image is where we use Sphero. Sphero is a robotic uh, uh, tools. Is programmable, and it's used to teach computational thinking. So in this case, the teachers actually created a very simple computational thinking, teaching students directions and a bit of mathematics. This was also done in a rural school. This image, unfortunately, is a bit small. I hope you can squeeze your eyes and have a look at it. It's one of our favorite co-designed game to teach addition using Sudoku game concept. Okay. It has been co-created, co-designed, and tested in schools and community, and a lot of teachers actually quite like this game, and we have left some of this game to some schools. The image on this right, these two image, are games for climate change. One is on daily life with recycling awareness. So we got items from our kitchen, and we got students to identify what can they do with those items. And the one on the most right image is a game co-created during our co-creation activity. It's on, if I'm not mistaken, it's on river water quality. So it's like snake and ladder, except it goes two ways. If you move up, means your water gets cleaner. As you move down, your water gets dirtier. So what should you do? So it's a very good sort of awareness to understand what can be done to have clean water. So you have seen how the co-creation approach is used during face-to-face workshop, which is the best. But the pandemic did not stop us from continuing the creative culture initiative. We have resorted to use these collaboration tools. We've created a number of digital solutions with only words and drawings and photos. For brainstorming, these tools are more than sufficient. YouTube is mainly used to share videos on works or hands-on. You may want to try it out Padlet, which we find has been useful. We have done workshops using Padlet with over 50 teachers, Miro, over 50 teachers. Besides Miro, there is another collaborative tools that can be used. It's Mural. Okay. Co-creation has brought a nice mix of results and outcome over these years. The activities is tremendously helpful in brainstorming ideas and solutions. The activity is just not only for fun, but also it is meaningful. We have seen teachers who are passive in contributing ideas and had eagerly participate in activities. Some usually passive students in class had become leaders in their groups by coming up with ideas and implementing them in the game creation. We can go frugal, using what we only have, the only resources that we have around us in designing the games. The approach help ease partnership, brokering between the research, teachers, students, and communities. And this list goes on are the comments and feedbacks actually from the communities, from the teachers, as well as from the students. This last slide summarizes the success of Creative Culture Initiative. Co-creation has successfully refreshed and renewed the students' interest in gaining knowledge via gameful activities. Teachers now are able to co-create content for their lessons and curriculum activities. For engagement, the main strength of game design thinking is the element of empathy. With that, we end today's talk. Thank you so much for listening.